It's over? It's over. Or has it just begun? When the crowdfunding campaign is over, it's time for you to make your creative project. And before you do that, I want you to make a plan. This is the part where time can kind of get away from you. So let's talk about, real quick, all the things you need to schedule before creative blocks and scheduling and real life get in your way, and you have completely lost track of your schedule and all of the things you need to do. I have some worksheets. I have some timelines. You know me, I'm here for you. Let's get into it. Build your schedule for release fulfillment, ordering of rewards, gathering information, creation, and more as soon as possible. Give yourself realistic timelines with wiggle room for errors, delays, and waiting on other people. All of these things might happen, so let's go ahead and build this creation timeline with some wiggle room so that you know what deadlines you need to hit, and you can go ahead and get started on this creative project. Here are the steps between now and release, between the end of your project and your release. First of all, making your timeline, setting your dates and deadlines. Then you need to commission your art and contractors. I like to go ahead and do this first because as soon as you have your money, you can hire other people, and you never know how long other people are going to take. If you are hiring somebody to make something for you, maybe they will let you down and you'll need to hire a replacement. Maybe they will take longer than you expect. Maybe they'll have a baby or something. So go ahead, hire people, give them as much time as possible so that while you're doing your work, they can be doing theirs. Third, make your creative project. That's going to take a while, right? So go ahead and do that. Then you're going to send out your crowdfunding surveys. If you're using a service like Kickstarter, you need to get information from your backers. So go ahead and do that as soon as you can, so that you have that information, because you might need it for the next step, which is ordering rewards and shipping supplies. You might need to know people's shirt sizes before you can order their shirts. You might need to know what kind of things they need before you order physical rewards if you're doing that. So go ahead and send out the surveys so you know what kind of rewards you need. Next, while you're waiting for those rewards to come in, is the perfect time to be making custom rewards, fulfilling all of that custom specific stuff that you promised. And then, number 7, starting your pre-release plan for your creative project. Once your creative project is done, let's start figuring out how we're going to launch it optimally to get the best lift, because you've already done so much work. Your audience has helped you. So how are we going to release it with the most optimal way we can? Then it's time. We're going to fulfill the merch, the rewards, the creative project to our backers. Then we're going to release the creative project to our backers in the press, digitally, physically. And then we release the creative project publicly. Remember, your backers were there for you, so let's try to get the product to them first. Those are steps to release. It's 10. What a beautiful number. I'm going to show you a sample timeline. Okay, so this is actually specific dates because this is actually a specific project that I have built for one of my clients. And as with many of my projects, this is actually a timeline that I built backwards. So they scheduled a release tour around a specific event on July 30th. And from there, we built everything. So if the release tour starts July 30th, I said, great, your release date is going to be July 24th. I think that was the Friday before, or giving them slightly more wiggle room just in case something happens. I give them a little bit just in case they don't hit 24th. So this is working backwards from there all the way back to the beginning. But I'll walk you through chronologically because that makes most sense. When you build this plan, you might need to build it backwards, but it's kind of hard to talk you through that way. So they launch the Kickstarter, and then the Kickstarter ends around 28 days later. Then they record the album. Right after the album, the Kickstarter and album are done, the album funds are in hand, and then they commission their final art. And I say, this is your deadline for art. Excellent. Then you finish recording, start to mix the album, mix the album. This is obviously very specific to music. Spin the album in for mastering, and we have this June 1st deadline. Finalize the album design, and then May 31st, we're sending Kickstarter surveys and posting a Kickstarter update. We also send a Kickstarter update from the studio. June 1st deadline, we have all of our wonderful stuff on hand so that we can go ahead and order our albums for printing. And now that all of our creative work is done, is a good time to start making a plan for a single release, like a music video to be filmed in June and July and released on our release date. Order merchandise and shipping materials. Now that all of our stuff is done, pins, shirts, order to have by July 7th, which is our next big deadline. Upload album to online stores, ready for release, and then brainstorm and plan on schedule release month excitement, music videos, online shows, mailing list blasts, countdown images. So that's what June is all about. If April is about creation, and May is about finishing, finalizing, and getting ready to know what we actually need, June is about ordering, right? And submitting. And then and planning and scheming. And then July, we have all of our stuff on hand July 7th so that we can start packing. First of all, if July 7th through 14th is when we're shipping, we have to lock down addresses on Kickstarter through surveys. We're going to talk about all of that. Album previews and tour dates sent to press a month before the single release. July 7th through 14th is when we are getting ready to pack and ship to Kickstarter backers, which is 10 days before the album release. We're going to drop everything in the mail a good 7 days before the album release, so that when people get their packages, it's not too long before the album release, but not too short either. Then we get everything ready to release the digital album to the Kickstarter backers so that we can release the digital album to Kickstarter backers 3 days before it gets out to the world, and then it's time for the release tour. So you can see how, honestly, this works a lot better building it backwards. All right, this is the release date. 3 days before that, the Kickstarter backers get it. Then we have a week before that to prepare the digital album. We have a week before that to pack up the CDs. So we need all the CDs by July 7th. So a month before that, we need to order the CDs. And so a month before that, we need to make sure we have all the things. Okay, so figure out what all of the steps of this is so that you can build this project backwards. All of the things in this timeline.